This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Yeah, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hey, Jason Glick. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing just fine, John. And yourself?
Not too bad. What do you have on tap for us tonight?
Well, tonight is a return to that endless well of content that is Star Wars. But, it's not just like your regular Star Wars. It is like weird offshoot, like vestigial branch Star Wars, in the sense that not only is this like, from the comics, but it's also a spin-off of the comics as well. Because I'm here to talk about like Dr. Aphra, the series spun off from Kieron Gillen's run on Darth Vader. It's like featuring the creator and a few other characters that he also created for the series as well. So, just in case you're not familiar with the character, she debuted in the third issue of his run in a very, very lightly thinly veiled take on the introductory scene from Indiana Jones or for Raiders of the Lost Ark. So it's like, because basically that's kind of like Aphra's gimmick at its very core. She's essentially like Star Wars answer to to Indiana Jones, and it's like that's honestly like a really great idea. I mean, adventurous space archaeologist in the Star Wars universe. Hey, that sounds great. It's like Gillen just did a good job of making her Darth Vader's semi-unwilling partner in crime, in the sense that she was kind of press ganged into working with him, but she did have some fun digging up stuff and just running rampant across the galaxy along the way. And she also made some quote unquote friends with psychotic murder droids 000 and BT, the the evil doppelganger versions of C-3PO and R2, and also Black Chrysanthemum. It's like Chewbacca's evil mirror universe counterpart. Yes, Gillen was big on doing mirror images for these certain characters in his Darth Vader run, but until they had legs beyond these concepts, and they still work pretty well as is. So at the end of Darth Vader, Vader basically spaced Aphra out of an airlock after she tried to betray him to the Emperor, but the Emperor just wound up being impressed by Vader's duplicity. Let's go fig. But in doing so, Vader basically figured that she was dead when Aphra still had some kind of oxygen device. I don't know what the term for these things is. It's basically what Han, Leia, and Chewbacca were wearing when they were investigating that cave in The Empire Strikes Back. So she had one of those and was able to survive for a little while in in the vacuum of space. So that's where we begin the first couple volumes of Dr. Aphra, as she's basically been given a clean slate. Vader doesn't know she's still alive, and she's got all the freedom she can want to run across the galaxy. And her first stop, is decided for her when her dad, Corin Aphra, comes calling, and he is he's a big pie in the sky, dreamer type archaeologist, and he's found the proper leverage by managing to get Aphra's doctorate revoked, by revealing some slightly untrustworthy evidence she uncovered regarding some very dangerous parasites called Burzian symbiotes. So basically, he's got to help her. She's got to help him find the lost temple, the Ordu Aspectu, which is either an old Jedi order that was mercilessly wiped out by the Sith, or an evil dark side sect that was purged by the Jedi. The results of that are kind of unclear. So this eventually leads to Aphra getting her hands on a crystal that houses the the quote unquote ghost of an old Jedi master that also has technopathy, the ability to control machines. This is kind of the storyline that drives Gillen's first year of Aphra, which he wrote the first 13 issues. And it's all about just setting Aphra on this big it's this big wild adventure, and also crossing over with the regular Star Wars crew as a result in the pages of the Screaming Citadel storyline. For the record, if you're reading this at home, the order goes Volume 1, then Screaming Citadel, then Volume 2, which has the great title, Dr. Aphra and the Enormous Profit, which is basically all about Aphra trying to sell this crystal to the highest bidder and how things go predictably wrong. Not just from the from the problem of like having a Jedi spirit encased inside a crystal that can mess with machines, but also from the fact that 000 and BT by extension, well, they've enjoyed their time with Aphra. It's like, but at the same time though, like she hasn't been letting him murder enough people, like for a little while now. So basically, it's like they've got to figure out now what can we do? What can we do to get out from under her thumb? Oh wait, we know someone who'd love to see her dead. Someone tall, dark, and very asthmatic. So yeah, for like this first year of Aphra is great fun. It's like just because like Gillen's a great writer, and Aphra plays right into his fun adventure, it's like adventure sensibilities. It's like there's some dark parts, but at the same time though, it's like it's not something you want to think too hard about. It's like yeah, she's selling people out. People are dying because of what she's done. But hey, it's like they're not exactly not all of them are bad people, but still, it's like most of them have it. Most of them have it coming, and the one-liners are so delicious, and she's likable enough that you want to see her succeed. Well, here's the thing, because that whole fun-loving rogue ethically challenged archaeologist archetype that the guy has set up for the character. Well, it's like I think that you could have gotten several more volumes about just reiterating that that kind of thing. Just send Aphra off to another, it's like on another wild goose chase, and finding another artifact, and just like having things go wrong when she gets her hands on it. It's a solid formula. Problem is that the person who Guylan I can't remember if he actually chose him to succeed or he just really agreed with it, but the person that wanted to work with the Guylan on the next arc and then taking over the series whole was Simon Spurrier. Spurrier, it's a guy I have lots of time for, in the sense that whenever he tackles something, he'll always try to find some interesting spin on it. Whether it's Crossed, whether it's X-Force, whether it's Professor X's son Legion, it's like or 70s Killer Shark comic book from British Comics, like in Hookjaw. So yeah, it's like Spurrier is all about finding new ways to look at things, and just digging into their dark underbellies to look at the truths that no one really wants to think about. The idea that hey, Cable may just be a gun-toting maniac after all, or the fact that hey, Legion was a character who wasn't really meant to work in the in the Marvel universe, so he's going to erase his existence, and there we go. Well, I'd love to know if before Spurrier got the job on Aphra, that someone at Marvel Disney told him, okay, we're sure you're going to do a great job with this, Simon, but hey, when you're done, it's like Aphra still has to be able to work, okay? You can't break her like you tried to do with Cable and like you did do with Legion, okay? Well, short version, judging by the way things went, Spurrier agreed, but he went in some really interesting directions before that happened. Starting with Remastered, which I mentioned in my review suffers from the sin of trying to do a whole lot, because it's like not only does it reintroduce Lieutenant Tolvan, the Imperial officer from the first volume, who Aphra wound up screwing over, but now, well, she's back and she's hot on Aphra's trail, in both senses of the word. It's and also they've got they got Aphra, it's under 000's thumb, because now he's calling the shots and I'm telling her what to do. But aside from that, you've also got lots of art, lots more archaeological digs. It's like a giant, it's like a giant rebel training ground set inside like a Clone Wars it's like battle cruiser, an Imperial info depot so dense it has its own gravitational pull, in all sorts of weird ass characters like Justice Crazed lawman Tam Pulsa. It's like it's like there's a lot going on here, and it's probably because this is the one volume where Guyland and Spurrier were credited together as co-writers. So they're probably all trying. Maybe there's probably a game of one-upsmanship here going on. They're trying to figure out who can deliver the craziest plot point or character, and how the other writer can just try and find a way to make them work. It does it definitely does come together in the end, but as Aphra is sent off to jail for the next arc. So then but that's when things start to get dark. Well, they did start to get dark in Remastered volume 3 because 000 has Aphra doing all these dirty, underhanded things, all to make her realize that, hey, it's like you and me, we're not so different, you and I. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. It's like, and well, that continues in the Catastrophe Con, which has Aphra in a Kresker jail, an Imperial brig where made up of several different ships have been crammed together using a gravity rig. So hey, what better way to harvest a destroyed spaceship by just slamming it into the existing ones and just letting the prisoners root out all the junk for them. Well, Aphra wasn't planning on staying too long for this, but well, circumstances intervened, and well, it's like she finds herself dealing with an unlucky shapeshifter who's also found himself in this place, and she believes that maybe he's her way out of here, but at the same time, she's also found a way to get Tolvan here as well by telling her about Aphra's the secret plan she uncovered in in the original Darth Vader series, that Vader's been trying to replace the Emperor with himself and his son Luke Skywalker. Well, now the thing is though that in at this prison they've got one of those mind reading tentacle monsters that we saw in Rogue One, like Bor Ephraim, which can read your mind and get you to and even edit your memories. Pay attention, because that'll be important in real soon. So while Aphra's having to dodge the Empire, it's as they're trying to interrogate her mind while this is going on. Well, the rebels are also really pissed at her because she sent them she stole some encrypted data. She stole some data for them, but encrypted it in order to get them to pay up for it. And one of their generals, wants them to, wants Aphra to, and so they can try and get her to unlock this stuff, without having to pay for it. So said general winds up having to contact a top grade smuggler who has some history with Aphra. That'll be Sana Staros who's most seen often in the regular Star Wars series. Now, the thing is though that Aphra and Sana were seriously hinted at having a romantic past. It's in the pages of both of Star Wars. Oh, and also turns out that Aphra and Tolvan are also kind of an item as well. So when Tolvan shows up to rescue Aphra and winds up having to go face to face with Sana, oh boy, it's not pretty. It's not pretty at all. And in fact, Aphra winds up having to do some really underhanded stuff here. Especially she has to do it in order to save Tolvan and her own skin. But man, what winds up happening to Tolvan is dark, and don't just mean by Star Wars standards. I mean, this is wow. And then when you get to the final pages of the volume, you realize that, oh wow, we've been had here, because it turns out that a certain minor character from the original Star Wars, well, he's part of the storyline as well. It's like, and it turns out he's got some interesting ideas about how to how to deal with it's like how to deal with what is the nature of evil and all. It's like, or hey, why don't I just put bombs in Aphra and Triple Zero's heads. It's like, just to see like if they can work together long enough to get them defused before they kill each other, or before Triple Zero kills Aphra. So it's like, and that's where the volume ends. I mean, Catastrophe Con is good, but man, it's easily the darkest volume, it's like, of the series, and probably one of the darkest things I've read in Star Wars. Period. Things do get lighter in the following volume, Worst Among Equals, where we first were introduced to a couple of bounty hunters, Win-Loss and Knock, who are being recruited by Aphra to take down this monster. It's like in a very specific fashion. One Win-Loss is a human, Knock is a Trans-Doshan. They're in love, like in the kind of like bickering Bickerson's it's like way that lots of couples are, and it's like they're appealing in their own, it's like on their own terms. But the annual they're featured in is included first for Worst Among Equals, because they wind up playing a key part in this. It's like in this storyline, because like with as Aphra and Triple Zero, well, big surprise, she managed to convince Triple Zero not to kill her before, because if he did, the bombs would go off. But then they wind up being chased to this planet, Milvane, like what is planet that is hailed as as an ideal imperial utopia, in the sense that, hey, if you let the Empire into your planet, this is the place you can have. It's a glorious place of utopic fascism, where everyone rats on everyone. It's like an order is maintained at the cost of knowing that your neighbor is going to be chucked down into the Undercity at late at night, or maybe just shot in the face for the hell of it. So yeah, it's like, this is the place that Aphra and Triple Zero are stuck in, and it's like, and the volume is mostly it's one big chase scene for the most part, as they try to get from one end of the city to the other. It's like, and it's a pretty good storyline based on those virtues. I mean, Spurrier may not have Yellen's exemplary wit, but he's still a very funny writer when he can be, and his sense of humor is just strange enough to be endearing by my terms. But the interesting thing about Worst Among Equals, and this carries over into the next volume, is that Spurrier also seems to want to interrogate the idea of how does the Empire actually work, in the sense that, hey, what is life on an Imperial planet like, when it's not being bombarded by the Imperials, or trying to be liberated by the rebels, It's like, what is Imperial life like, and just how has the Empire managed to sustain itself? It's like when it's not just being an evil world conquering machine. I mean, it is an evil world conquering machine, that's all about the jackboot. But Spurrier has some ideas about how the Empire could actually function as an actual empire, without being resorting to being wholly evil. It's 24/7. But also he's still hitting the idea about Aphra, just not being a very good person. I mean, we saw a lot of that in the previous volume, and here, she's stuck with a murder droid trying to trying to save her own skin as they're trying to get across the city. So but at the same time, she winds up meeting this orphan girl with a giant caber worm. It's that may have the chance to get them across, and Aphra's personality winds up rubbing off a bit too well on this girl Vulanda. It's at certain points, all up until the very end, when, well, let's just say that if the series is going to end at the end of this volume, it's like I guess it would have been an all right ending, but it would have been really really disappointing because hey, letting your main character get shot and left to bleed out in the streets, it's like you probably assume that's not gonna like that she'll be fine at some point. And the fact that the volume completely brushes off this finale, it's like it's to be expected. So, but in the end, like seeing Aphra and 000 like constantly debate, who they're like who's got the moral high ground here, and even then she double crosses 000 in order to hopefully save her skin, she ultimately has to double back on that to save her skin again. So it's actually kind of interesting to see them finally reach an accord. It's like at the end of the volume after Aphra has given 000 back his memories, and 000 it's like eventually finds himself reaching something resembling compassion for his former master. It's like it's interesting and it's appealing. So yeah, it's like another solid volume right here. Then you get the one after that. That has the weirdest title of the or most on the nose title of the run. That would be Unspeakable Rebel Superweapon. Basically, Aphra's back in business with Vulanda as her ward, and they're looking through for ruins and stuff out in the Outer Rim. And while one person is promised to pay them 200,000 credits if they can get this mysterious sash back, well, they figure, hey, no problem. But then while they're looking for that in the same ruin, they find this weapon called the Far Killer, wielded by Oob the Apostate. It's like a Jedi. It's like a Jedi from ancient times who felt that the Council wasn't being proactive enough in taking out emergent warlords, and took matters into his own hands. He basically made a sniper rifle out of a lightsaber and used it to like smoke guys from a galaxy away. So this is something that her dad had been looking for a while as well. But it's not. But while Aphra's dad has a small role here, like this volume is more concerned about her mother and all those aphorisms she implanted in her daughter's mind, such as like evil is only a measure. It's like of how much your choices take away from someone else's. It's like, and well, it seems as if the series is going to like paint. It's like like Aphra's dad is just being the expected like disaffected, uninterested parent. Well, it's like it also doesn't. It's also not fully on board with how her mother like treated Aphra as well, because in the end, she took her, like daddy wasn't paying attention to either of them, so mother took Aphra away to try and like give her some own perspective, but she wound up just being taking Aphra like and isolating her from the rest of the galaxy on some on some hick like frontier planet, only for a bunch of raiders to come and take them out. Well, fortunately, the Empire showed up and took out those raiders. Good for them, because Unspeakable Rebel Superwoman has the other half of how Spurrier's thoughts on how the Empire like works, in the sense that, well, it's like good public relations. That's what they're all about. They're all about just saving people, saving planets from from the terrors of the galaxy. Even if they have to manufacture a couple, it's like, and also just pointing out the existing happiness of worlds like Milvain, before it was completely destabilized by Aphra and her antics. It's like, and also just setting a tier for the other worlds that were that run where lawlessness runs rampant, that while they're not under Imperial rule. So that's kind of like their thing, and it's kind of, I have to admit, it's kind of interesting. And the mouthpiece that Spurrier has chosen to voice this through, Minister Vur, she's a pretty interesting character in the sense that she's all about just finding finding ways to promote the empire stability. It's like that don't involve the overt jackboot. But the funniest part is that, well, she's got major issues with how Palpatine and Vader run things, because Palpatine just not concerning himself with the rule of law and all. It's like, and just like initiating pogroms to kill whoever gets on his bad side, and also just sending Vader out to just murder. It's like whatever problems like pop up in their way. Well, she's opinion that they are ruining everything. Oh, and the fact that the Emperor is just not sufficiently lovable enough to be a ruler of a giant galaxy. She said that, hey, I want him to go out and kiss some babies, but I would fear for the baby's life if he did. So she's basically winds up roping up Aphra into a very complex plan to to take Palpatine out. But as we all know from the movies, this plan doesn't work, and the reasons for that, well, they're pretty good. It's like, even though it's like this is probably results in probably the talkiest climax of this. It's like of the series, in a sense, as Aphra it's like and Vur dish out dueling plans for how they believe things are going to go down. It's almost not quite the same as like the iocane powder duel bit from Princess Bride. So, but and I was also mentioning, I guess I should have mentioned up to this point, that Aphra generally has really strong art like throughout the majority of its run, either from like Kev Walker in volumes 1, 3, and 5, it's like, or from Emilio Liso in volumes let's see, 3, it's like 3 and 6. Volume 6, Unspeakable Rebel Super Weapon, is where that breaks down, because these 5 issues have 4 different artists, and it's like you get the feeling that that Marvel was just like throwing artists like at the series in order for it to beat its deadlines. And while I think that any of these artists, Wilton Santos, Casper Weingard, Andrea Bocardo, and Chris Bolson, could have done a good job on their own. It's like, it is kind of disappointing that it's like the series, this volume is like a very big mishmash of styles, but still I think that the overall writing is strong enough to prop it up. Oh, but the best part, or I guess another best part of this volume, is that, well, it's like it also brings Darth Vader back into the picture once again. Vader's been kind of an irregular presence in the series, in the sense that he's out there, he has history with Aphra, and eventually they're going to settle things, because, well, after 000 let Vader in on the Aphra's existence, well, she she managed to get out of that, at the end of the Catastrophe Con through really bad means. But then, when she's wrapped up in this assassination plot to take out the Emperor, well, it was only inevitable that Vader comes back into Aphra's life one last time. For now, that's where we begin with volume 7, Rogue's End. This is Spurrier's final volume for the series, and the last in the current run of Dr. Aphra. It's like it collects the 4 issues, the final 4 issues of the main series, the second annual, and the epilogue from Star Wars Empire Ascendant. Basically, it's like it starts off with Aphra being stuck on the Executor as part of the Empire's survey detail for Project Swarm, which is basically all the probe droids they launched that to find the rebels hidden base at the start of Empire Strikes Back. Problem is that Executor, that's Vader's ship. Vader's on board, but apparently it's like the Emperor was grateful enough for Aphra's role in foiling the assassination plot that we're left to assume that he told Vader, "Don't kill her." It's like doesn't mean Vader can't toss her around if she pisses him off, but Aphra realizes that she's only that her life is basically just one bad day away from from being snuffed out if Vader so feels like it. So she's got to find a way to use this project to her advantage, which becomes a lot harder when her first field trip or first away expedition to a planet they think might be hiding the rebel base. Well, turns out her dad was camping there. Well, so now you've got Aphra, her dad, and Vader all on one ship. Fun times to be had, indeed. And also Tolvan comes back into the mix as well as it's like Spurrier's bringing together all the threads for this final volume. And in the end, he finally has Aphra just kind of realize what she has to do in order to become a good person. So let's just say that it's certainly possible that we'll be seeing the supporting cast again, but I think what he does here is is a good case for showing us that Aphra has changed. I like the arc that he's taken Aphra on, just interrogating her. It's her selfish tendencies, and eventually having her come out the other end. As a better person, willing to sacrifice and stand up for things that in order to save her friends and what she believes in. I really appreciated that. Even though the way he has her do it here, it's something that, I imagine I would love to have heard the conversation he must have had with Lucasfilm in order to have what happens in this arc happen. I realize I'm being deliberately vague here, but yeah, you should. But I think it's worth preserving because, on one hand, I'm not sure that this character really needs this to happen to them, but at the same time, I think that Aphra kind of earns what happened here. She needed this. She needed to do this because of the ongoing threat that had been hounding her for the entirety of her run, and so I think that ultimately it was worth it, even if maybe that's okay. It's just I have issues with just seeing this character almost completely having their butt handed to them. So there you go. You can probably the clever amongst you will figure out what I'm really talking about here. But ultimately, I think that that it's a good, solid final arc for Aphra. It does a good job of bringing together what Spurrier was doing with the character, in the series. Underlining that is the annual, which brings back Win-Loss and Knock, and also Black Chrysanthemum in a bit role. As as they're on Tatooine trying to track down a very bad Trans-Adoshan from Knock's past, and it turns out that the bartender there is all too willing to isn't really willing to help them out, but he is willing to take Win-Loss's credits to guard this thing that he found in the desert. Thing is, said bartender also has some history with Aphra as well, as in double crossing her to leave her dead out in the desert somewhere. So while Win-Loss and Knock are out trying to get their revenge, in walks Black Chrysanthemum, who basically sets the plot further in motion when he reveals that, hey, this thing that Win-Loss has left with the bartender. Well, this is a hut delicacy, and I'll buy it off you. Well, you can probably guess where things are going from there. But it's still a pretty cleverly constructed caper story that I generally enjoyed, even though it does ultimately hinge on you accepting that the bartender is dumber than a sack of hammers. It's when it comes to the final act, because anyone with half a brain should have realized that the time to get out of Jabba's palace, would have been when he saw like it's like when he when he saw the three of them like heading out of the palace themselves. So there you go. And then you've got the epilogue, which has the Aphra supporting cast. It's like, just I'm receiving the message she recorded. It's like in the final issue of her series, and just reflecting on, on the hey, it's like she might have done some terrible things, but at the same time, she's not a bad person in the end. It's nice. It's appropriately heartwarming. And then you think about the fact that, Spurrier left them all on Hoth. I wonder. Okay, that's good. I think. I mean, so yeah, it's like she saved them and left them all on Hoth. That's great. Oh man, it makes you think, because sure, it's like like she was doing what she thought was the right thing, but at the same time though she brought them all together, but at the same time, well, I guess like maybe once the next Aphra series starts up, we'll find out how many of them actually made it off the planet once the Empire Strikes Back happened. So there you go. And the series is continuing because it's getting an all-new #1, which, to be honest, I was kind of surprised because I didn't think that Aphra had been setting the sales charts on fire, even with respect to like Star Wars, other Star Wars comics. Even though I got to admit that Aphra has been consistently entertaining, and I think arguably the best like ongoing. It's like Star Wars ongoing after. It's like after Guyland's own Darth Vader series. I mean, it's like yeah, Guyland's own Star Wars run definitely had its moments, and I liked like Charles Soule's Vader series, but Aphra's took the side character and said, and had her looking at some of the weirder parts of Star Wars, like the parts you're never going to see in a movie or even on Disney Plus. And I appreciate that. And it was also interesting to see Spurrier interrogate the darker, more questionable aspects of Aphra's character. That was overall I think he told a good story featuring the character. Even though I am not familiar with the creators who are taking over Aphra's new title, Alyssa Wong as the writer and America Cresta as the artist, I'll be on board just to see if they can deliver a take as unique as inspired as Spurrier's was. So yeah, I definitely recommend this series. In fact, if you liked Guyland's Darth Vader series, then yes, you absolutely should pick up Dr. Aphra as well. It's very not only did he write the first year, but Spurrier is definitely of a kind when it comes to him comparing the two as writers. They've both got the same kind of ideas, and and even if Spurrier is more interested in mechanic, in interrogating the problematic stuff, and Guyland is probably it's probably more content to just lay it out there and just let it fester. It's the both of them do great work here. As do all the artists. Well, all the artists who handled a single arc on this in this series. So there you go. I think it's great. Go out and buy it because hey, if you like I said, you like Darth Vader, it was great. Get this one too. Yeah. So John, any thoughts on your end about any of this?
No, it sounds pretty clear to me. You want people that you highly recommend it, and hey, it sounds like a really good concept.
Ethically challenged Indiana Jones and in a Star Wars comic. What's not to love?
Exactly. So, all right, what are you going to talk about next time?
Okay, well, looking at my to-read shelf, I'm going to see if two generally all right image series, Curse Words and Rumble, can add up to one good podcast.
All right, we'll catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Glick.
All right, laters.